Okay, so if you're like me, you probably love to know what you need to be doing. Like, are you the kind of person that loves a to-do list, loves checking off the to-do list? That is totally me. Do you love strategies and tips? I am a fanatic about those things. As a matter of fact, I get to work somewhere where we talk about strategies all the time, and it's like my favorite thing. So when I come to a point, maybe you can relate to this. When I come to a point or a situation or a circumstance and there is no process, kind of drives me nuts. And so recently I have had this happen in the caregiving duties I have with my mom. And it's not the first time it happens. I mean, if anything, caregiving is an example of like, you never know what's happening next. But at the same time, it's just really coming to that point right now. And so a lot of times, I'll go with my mom to the doctor and I'll be like, so what is the next step, or what is the next plan, or what can we do? And, there's not always here's your list of the 5 next things you're going to do. A lot of times it's a wait and see. And so what I've had to learn is to, have a process for dealing with no process. Okay, so, and I know you're like, wait, isn't that cheating? Maybe, but I have to do something because that's just the way my brain works. And so there's a few things that I have done to deal with the chaos of a life and a circumstance that sometimes is without a process or without a strategy or without next steps. I can't always, as much as my full focus planner, shout out, hashtag not a sponsor, but as much as I love planning, and I still do that, and it's very important and it really helps me, and I love my routines, which I have, and you can look at the videos about those, but as much as I love all that, there are things in my life that I just can't put into a strategy. I just can't list on a to-do. It's just there, and I'm just gonna have to deal with it or handle it or embrace it. So this is what I am trying to do. And another, disclaimer, this is a work in progress. So I haven't reached perfection, but if I waited to do a YouTube video until everything was perfect, I wouldn't do it. And I'm trying to punch fear in the face. So here goes. Okay, so chaos reigns sometimes, or even just, circumstances that are out of my control. And so what I've learned to do is take each day as it comes. So I will plan what I know about in that day, but I'm trying to learn to leave a little bit of margin, which this is a biggie for me because I'm all about cramming as much in as possible. But I leave a little bit of margin for the unexpected, the things that pop up, whether it be caregiving for my mother or something comes up with my children. I want to make sure that I have enough margin, that I have time to breathe. So my first strategy for dealing with something that has no strategy is to make sure I'm leaving a little bit of breathing room in my schedule. The second thing I do is when something comes up, not if, when it will happen, I think about what I can do right then. And if I can't do anything right then, I immediately do the next thing, which is to think about who can help me. So let me hop back to that second step first. So number 1, I leave margin. Number 2, I think about, okay, can I really do anything about this? And if so, what is that? So that's what I do. That's the second thing I do. And then there are some times where, I just can't. I'm out of town or whatever. And so I think about who can help. And this is something that's part of the strategy that I've built in already. So yes, I'm not always going to know what's going to happen. I can't always plan hospitals and emergency rooms and falls and things like that. Like I never can. Those things just happen. But I can have a plan to reach out to people who I know are willing and sometimes and usually able to help in some way. So those are my 3 things that I do all the time. So I'm trying to do. I want to be honest. There's not always margin, but I'm trying to have margin. I'm trying to think about, what I can actually do to help. And then the third thing I do is think about who can I ask to help? And that third thing is really hard because I don't always want to ask for help, But, that's why, I believe God puts people in our lives to help us. And of course, I didn't mention this, but of course, I'm always praying about how I can best care for others. And how I can best care for myself so that I can care for others. So those are my tips for when there aren't really any tips or processes, but that's what I try to do to make the most of a situation that doesn't fall happily into a box. So I hope it helps for you. And if you have any tips or strategies on dealing with those unknown circumstances or things that pop up, I'd love to hear about it. So go ahead and leave me a comment about how you deal with unexpected circumstances. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button, because we're going to be talking about this a lot and sharing ideas. So come on back and see me. I look forward to seeing you guys again soon.